my deck a little bit and what I was trying to do with it and why I picked the cards I picked. So in this one, I ended up picking do 3 damage to everything. So this is actually one of my core cards. Cooldown 2, which means every other turn I can hit every single outpost for 3 damage, and I can hit my opponent for 3 damage, and I hit myself for 3 damage. But the trade-off is worth it to me, because if the outpost that has 2 health and the outpost that has 3 health are open, or even if they're covered, that 3 damage is enough to swap ownership or to cap it if nobody's on it. So I thought that was a very powerful card. I think there's a 1 cooldown version, but it was just too many points, and I needed to get other cards into the deck. So on the next card here, Occupy all outposts, cooldown 8. So this one I like because it's kind of a big late game swing card. So the way my deck works is I'm trying to make it really hard for the other person to ever have outposts, and most of my damage comes from the outposts. So this one's pretty self-explanatory, and the main reason it's there is for opponents that are also outpost control, because my hope would be they don't have that. So if they have 3 of the outposts and I only have 1, I can play that on turn 8 to switch ownership all to my outposts, and then they have to scramble to try to get the outpost back from me. So, and the reason I went to cooldown 8 version instead of one of the low cooldown versions is
way too expensive.
Well, it's not that it's too expensive. It's there's no real benefit in capping all 4 early for that point total, because my deck is AoE. So I probably have 2 or 3 of the outposts to begin with, anyways. Especially in the early game, and then do 2 damage to everything. Cooldown 1. The reason I went cooldown 1 on this one is turn 1. I think it's important to try cap an outpost when you're outpost control, and essentially that's the only card at an affordable point total that can do it, because one of the outposts only has 2 health, and basically with this, you get 2 abilities per turn. This ability caps me a guaranteed outpost at the beginning, and you'll see that I have another one of these on a different card. The reason being that depending on what I'm playing against, I either do 2 damage and cap 1 outpost and heal 3, so that I net to 16 health. So I start with a little bit of an advantage because I have an outpost and I have extra health over the opponent. But on the other hand, if the other person has a lot of healing or something, and I know there's no big threats that they're going to pull on me, I might just do 2 damage to everything twice on turn 1, so then I can cap the bigger outpost. So
you have 2 of those. You have 2 of them.
I have 2. So basically, what happens is I can cap the outpost that has 2 health with the first one I use, but then when I use the second one, I cap the one that has 3 health, and I re-lose the one that had 2, but I have a stronger outpost.
So it's like pure AoE. Like everything's AoE, basically.
Not everything.
More surprises to come.
Yes, there are. So this one.
Oh, Pirelli's Hand. I love this card.
Pirelli's Hand.
Ton of abilities.
Okay.
Well, I only use 1.
You only use 1.
Do 9 damage to all outposts. So similarly, one deck I had a little trouble with were other outpost control when I had a little more DPS. So this one's nice because it's super cheap. The cooldown's not too bad. And I can basically, unless they've really healthed up their outposts, I can break all the outposts back to neutral at the very least. So it's another, like, emergency card.
Your first card I recognize from looking through the
Wound Area.
The Wound Area. That is my card.
Is it your card? Okay. So what I've picked from this card is 8 damage to target with 10 cooldown. So this is my, apart from my Occupy opponent-owned outpost ability, this is my other super cool ability. I tend to save it to be like the game winner for me, so I tend to save it till the very end.
So that's Giannis's big play, and then my big play is the Occupy all outposts, which I don't think I mentioned earlier. So I'm always playing to that Occupy all outposts, and he's playing to that 8 damage and trying to use it at the right time to finish the opponent off.
So I also have, I think I have ability per card. I haven't selected 2.
You have 7 cards? Oh no, you have 6 cards.
6 cards, and I think I have 6, perhaps. We'll see. So I also have some heal, so I heal self by 4 with 2 cooldown. That's my main heal ability. And then, like, at the start of the game. Later on in the game, I stop using it because I have a mixture of, 2 increase health of target by 5. Once What? Yeah.
Outpost as well, right?
I don't know. I've never used that for an outpost. Like once, perhaps, just to make the round last longer or something. I was telling you about my two increased health of target by 5 abilities. One's on low cooldown, which is 3, and I think the other one was like 8 or something. So I have more. The other one's 9, but it comes handy later on in the game. And that's why I really need it. It's normally at the end of the second round when I'm trying to survive this extra round to just get my 8 damage to target cool down a little more so I can swiftly finish my third round.
So give yourself a little buffer.
Yeah, basically.
What's really annoying about that card too is in game 1 where you beat me, where I thought that I could win, I made a mistake because I decided to let the game go for one more turn.
Yeah.
Because I didn't pay attention to that 9 cooldown heal.
Yeah.
And I was going to let it go for one more turn because I knew I thought I could finish him the next round, but that I could have more outposts going into the second game. And what happened was that he played that next turn, healed 10, and I didn't have enough damage to burst 10 down. The game went much longer. He ended up winning that round and then taking the whole game.